So this week we are headed back to school. Hard to believe already, with class starting as soon as next week in some districts. So we wanted to help you start the school year stress-free, at least as close as possible, right? So my guest today is the owner of the Indianapolis Moms blog, Kait Baumgartner. Kait, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here. You guys do so much important work with Indianapolis Moms. Tell us a little bit more about yourself as a mom.
Sure. So I'm actually a mom of 3. As we were talking about earlier, I have a 14-year-old who is heading off to high school. I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, so kind of a wide range of ages.
Okay, already hugs to your mommy heart.
Yes.
With the one headed to high school,
Yes.
with all of them. It's so awesome to see them reach those milestones, certainly.
Definitely.
So you know all too well about going back to school and
Absolutely.
what it takes to get your kids there and to get them started off on a good foot. So we want to talk a little bit about that, since kids will be headed back to class soon. We know it could be just a stressful time for everyone, but today you actually want to share 5 tips to help make it easier. So let's start with tip number 1. Okay, prioritize.
Sure. And I think this one's really hard.
Because everything feels like a priority.
It does. So prioritize your time. What needs to be done right now? That's kind of what you want to think about. So do the fun little lunch notes need to be done right now? Maybe not. But think about like appointments. That's important. Some appointments you need to get done before
doctor's
school
appointments.
starts. Yes. Think about supplies, all the school supplies. But prioritize your time. What needs to be done right now?
And I always remember a little bit of stress, because my mom was in the education system too.
Okay.
So she was also going back to work. And I feel
Yes.
like you don't want to have that connotation, you don't want to have that emotion kind of associated with a
Sure.
new beginning, if possible.
Right.
If possible.
If possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing I like to do for when I prioritize my things is a calendar is also a great thing. Maybe if it's a monthly thing and you put in those important dates that are coming up, like think of like back to school as well. Because there's always the back to school night with the teacher, meet the teacher night, those kind of things that are really important. So maybe stick those events on your calendar now, so you are thinking ahead of time as well when you're planning your time out.
Especially when you have multiples like yourself.
Yes.
One child is very different from 3. I have 1. It's very different
Yes.
from 3.
Especially now I have 3 different schools, so I have 3 different schedules. So your time is precious.
Yes. Okay. Learn to say no.
Learn to say no.
What are you saying no to?
Well, I think a lot of times we have that FOMO, right? We don't want to miss out on anything. So look at what's important and what's going to keep you and your family happy. Okay. So, maybe it's okay to say no to that evening gathering with the friends. If it's okay to just stay in, relax, chill, just take time with the family. It's not going to be the end of the world if you say no to some of those obligations that come up.
Yeah, it's tough because you said no the last 4 times.
Right. And and a lot
and
of
then
times,
they stop calling.
yes. Well, and you have the guilt about it too. Like,
Yes.
I feel so guilty.
Yes.
Don't feel guilty.
I said no to swim class recently. I just couldn't do it.
And now think of your time, the time you have. You had to do it for you. Yes, exactly. And don't feel guilty about it.
Say no and take the nap.
Yes.
Okay, number 3, get outside.
Get outside. It's still summer. I think one of the downfalls about starting school so early is it's August in Indiana. It is still summertime, but we know how those endorphins are going to be going when we get outside, ride bikes, go to those splash pads.
Yes.
The pools are still open. In that time, go outside. That once you get home from school, kind of just to help us relax and think of things other than school, but enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, because we know January will look a lot different, people.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 4, stop the comparison game. Who are you
Yes.
comparing ourselves to other parents?
Parents and things, a lot of times you'll look on the first days of school and they all have the cute little chalkboards, and if you don't have time for that, that's okay. Don't compare yourself to what other parents are doing.
Oh my gosh, because that's adding to the stress, like we said.
Is.
Because you're trying to go out and get all this last minute stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Do what's going to be best for you, because for me, as much as I would love to sit and do those chalkboards, I don't have the time. So maybe we're going to have a sign, maybe not, but I will take a picture.
Yes.
I'll take a picture so I have it for my memories. But don't worry about what your best friend is doing. Don't worry what you're seeing on social media. You need to just worry about what you're doing for yourself, because that's the very best.
Yeah, because you see all these super moms
Yes.
online,
Yes.
and the internet can be such a resource. The internet can also be like the downfall of
Absolutely.
a doom scroll, because it just seems like everyone is running faster than you.
Truly. And, it's like the Pinterest game too. You see all these elaborate things you can do, but just don't worry about it. Worry about you.
There you go. Especially if you're not like the arts and crafts mom.
No.
Like you, we're the working mom. We're not the, the Joanne Fabrics mom.
No.
All right, and but we could be. So all right, and also roll with it.
Roll with it. Things are going to come. There's going to be changes. Things are just going to come our way that we can't always deal with. As we go back to school, sickness happens. It's going to put something into your plan. Things are going to change. Nothing is going to be perfect, but just roll with it. I think that's probably one of the most important tips is just calm down.
Yeah.
And it's going to be okay.
All right, Kait, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Everybody, Kait is with Indianapolis Moms. We're going to have all of her content linked to our website at WTHR.com.